Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, a big twist has emerged in the anti-India terror plot involving one American national and 6 Ukrainians who were recently taken into custody. The role of the American national, Matthew Van Dyke, in this operation is now coming under deeper and more serious scrutiny. There's a video circulating, which Times Now cannot independently verify, shows Matthew meeting with Pastor William Devlin. Now, agencies are probing the context and implications of this meeting as part of the ongoing investigation. Let's take a look at what the contents of this video really are. There are some visuals that you can see from here, and very clearly, of course, as far as this particular video is concerned, it holds a lot of significance because you see how Matthew meets with Pastor William Devlin in this particular video. He also, of course, is seen talking to him before a meeting. Both are seen conversing in a lift as well ahead of that particular meeting. And what is being projected here ostensibly is that pastor is introducing Matthew to a friend of his, and this friend is going to arrange some kind of funding, is what we understand, with this particular meeting. They go into the meeting, the meeting's image is not there, and then they come out of the meeting saying, I think it was a successful meeting, is what has been stated as far as this particular video is concerned. Now, the big question that we are looking at in terms of this video and the special importance that agencies are attaching to it is because they're looking at a financial trail that allegedly links Matthew to funding of rebel activities in the Northeast using donations collected from groups abroad. Let's take a look at what are these angles that are being probed. The first is Matthew's alleged link to US preacher Daniel Stephen Corny. The second angle is whether this US preacher Daniel Corny is accused of distributing bulletproof vests and drones in Manipur as well. The third angle is whether Matthew is accused of using donations to fund insurgent groups. Angle number 4, suspected funds masked as humanitarian aid is another angle that agencies are looking at, and funds which were allegedly diverted to rebels along the India-Myanmar border. Now, this is what sources are indicating to Times Now as far as the probe is concerned. There's also a breaking update coming in now. Sons of Liberty International has issued a statement, and they say that they are aware of the detention of Soli founder Matt Van Dyke in India. They're, of course, referencing his Twitter handle, Matthew Van Dyke. They say they're waiting more details from his appointed attorney and the NI authorities in Delhi. We are in communication with the US State Department, which is aware of Matthew's detention and is in contact with local authorities in India. Let's quickly take this across to our colleagues Bhavtosh Singh and Priyank, who are joining us. Bhavtosh, this is very significant because the group that Matthew had founded, Soli, says that they are in touch with the State Department, which means that they are in touch with the government at the highest levels. And clearly, of course, we have seen how this is post this particular meeting, even at the highest level of government, the US Embassy has been engaging with. Bhavtosh.
Yes, Madhav. In fact, this also shows that Sons of Liberation International admits that Matthew Van Dyke is their founder. Importantly, this organization, a non-profit organization, was set up in 2014, and since then, according to its charter, they want to overthrow all dictatorial regime across the world. And the founder himself participated in several such operations, or at least was active not only in Libya but also in Iraq and Syria, and also fought in the Russian-Ukraine war. This is the first admission by them that they want to have a consular access and also are in direct touch with US State Department. Here only US Embassy has reacted to his arrest, but one has to wait and see whether US State Department also officially issues a statement. Important development. One has to see what will be the next course of action as far as this non-profit organization is concerned, which has been founded and formed by Matthew Van Dyke.
The sources indicate that over 20 foreign mercenaries may have exited India undetected after infiltrating from Myanmar. At least 4 batches of foreign fighters are alleged to have trained insurgent groups before slipping out through Indian cities between February and May 2024. Nearly 1,240 foreign nationals traveled via the Mizoram route. Investigators allege that some of these individuals were involved in combat training, tactical support, and drone warfare for various forces, including anti-junta forces. The focus now is on the 2 US nationals who are being linked to various networks. Let's quickly take this across to Priyank, who's joining us. Priyank, this is very significant because various videos have been doing the rounds. They are talking about foreign nationals why are they interested in providing training or any kind of support to the individuals? Because these are clearly internal matters of India, and that is why the role of this individual, Mr. Van Dyke, is also being taken very seriously.
See, Madhav, the presence of Daniel Stephen Corny in Manipur's Chudachandpur was certainly raising alarming thing for the agencies. That's why he was identified and he was told to go back to the United States. What was very important that he was visiting those minority-dominated area while the ethnic clashes were continuing. But his role being probed by the agency is also being linked to Matthew's meeting all these Christian missionaries. So the funding of these missionaries to these areas is certainly a raising concern. What we have also got to know from agency officials that they are scrutinizing the voluminous document of all those 1,024 visitors who were the foreign national to these conflict-affected area, and also those 16 to 14 Ukrainian nationals who are still present in India, who have managed to infiltrate into India, and they had also gone to Myanmar. So these are the basic factors on which the National Investigation Agency has been working on. The certain data is yet to be given back to the agency so that they can establish that how much funding was given to these individuals. So getting funding from abroad in the name of all these minority-dominated area where the conflict is going on and trying to destabilize this South Asian part of the world is certainly
That's really the emphasis of these individuals. And in fact, there's a reaction coming in, Priyank, of the Manipur Chief Minister as well. Let's listen into that.
3 arrested from Lucknow and 3 arrested from Delhi and 1 from Calcutta. The American was arrested from Calcutta. They have been remanded for 11 days and law will take its own course.
No, this is a very serious matter. We are against this. We have to check very carefully. Government has to be very, very proactive in taking care of this situation, because this is one of the most dangerous, situation for our state. So our state has to be safe from all this kind of illegal, immigrants. State should take very serious step on this. During this census revision, if we don't take it seriously, the genuine people should be taken and then bogus should be removed.
I'd like to thank Priyank as well as Bhavtosh for joining us with all those breaking inputs and updates as far as the developments today are concerned. And this is a story that we have been tracking for the last 3 days. Priyank and Bhavtosh have broken every aspect of this, and we will continue to track this story very closely. Let me quickly open this up to our guest now. Joining us with us is Rajat Sethi, author. Pratim Ranjan Bose, a senior journalist and columnist, joining us. We have Dr. Akashdeep Puni, political analyst, and Imran Ahmed Ali, lawyer and political analyst, is also with us on the show. Rajat Sethi, I'm going to come to you first. Now, does this concern you, the kind of information that we have put out, not just what we've seen in Manipur in the past of other foreign nationals, but the case of this individual who is seen in a video, there's a pastor helping him. Now, is that directly connected with what we've seen or the larger pattern there in the northeast? Because it's not just Manipur, we've even seen what the Mizoram Chief Minister has been saying for the past few months.
No, absolutely. Madhav, having served in the Northeast as the advisor to the previous Chief Minister, we used to get routine reports of cross-border involvement of actors who on paper claim that they are non-state actors, but deep down the strings are pulled from very, very long distances. So this was more of an open secret to the intelligence agencies, to our military intelligence, all of the entities in the Northeast, and they were very carefully tracking the movements across the border. This came to a surprising sort of a shock during the Kuki Meitei riots that were happening in the state, because some of the highly sophisticated drone operations were being conducted and targeted attacks on chosen Meitei houses within villages was carried out with military level precision. Now, how does that precision happen to that degree? We know that there was certain cross-border involvement from China and others in certain other insurgent groups, but for the Kuki insurgent groups, they did not have the Chinese access. So there was some kind of a training happening across the border in the Chin state. And, you just displayed how one of these majors trained in the US Army was actually hand delivering bulletproof jackets and also trying to train cookie militants using religion as a card. So, there is an angle of religion, there is an angle of, non-state actors trying to intervene into India's sovereign issues and trying to, add, discord among the various communities of our state. So it goes very, very deep. And I'm happy that our investigative agencies have been finally able to nab these people. And I can confidently tell you, there will be hordes and hordes of evidences when they have made this move. It will not be, there is a reason why the US ambassador has rushed.
Of course, we'll have to see what the agencies can eventually prove in a court of law. I'm not going to second guess the investigation, but Akashdeep Muni, purely judging by what is there before us, judging by what has happened in the recent past in the Northeast, and judging by this particular arrest, no one can deny the fact that one of them is an American national. No one can deny the fact that 6 are Ukrainian nationals. In fact, their embassies themselves have confirmed it. But what exactly is their role in the Northeast? And why are they training individuals? Why are other people arming individuals? These are some very, very serious and disturbing questions that are emerging now from this entire episode and the probe.
Indeed, Madhavji. As per the reports, at least 14 Ukrainian nationals entered India on tourist visas over several months from 2024 to 2026, traveled to Guwahati, Mizoram, and crossed into Myanmar. Only 6 are arrested now, the rest are at large. But we have to remember that what Mizoram's Chief Minister, Lalduhoma, publicly warned in March 2025, a full year now, that foreign mercenaries, including US Special Office Forces, were using Mizoram as a transit route to Myanmar for training rebels. Now, this was not fully acted upon, it seems, from central level until the Russian intelligence tip-off 3 days ago. The accused entered India on tourist visas, traveled to restricted Mizoram without permits, crossed into Myanmar multiple times since 2024. These are serious operational lapses. Drone consignments from Europe were routed through India, using India as a transit hub. This raises questions about our border monitoring and intelligence coordination. Now, we have caught 6 of them. I am sure that the NIA will be catching others. But more coordination is expected, especially in cases like this.
All right. Will there be more coordination? Is coordination more important? Pratim Ranjan Bose answered that question. He says that if the Mizoram Chief Minister was warning about this for a year, if I've understood Akashdeep Muni correctly, he's questioning why is it that we have not acted on this earlier? Pratim Ranjan Bose.
Generally, I have a gut feeling on this. If you remember the issue of insurgency, the first to blow the whistle were the Russians in Bangladesh, which Hasina repeated about the plan to create a Christian state. And I remember that in those days in Dhaka, there was in Dhaka Club and the Diplomatic Club. So there were a lot of rumors about the Americans are going to create trouble in Northeast. These are rumors. Now, the issue of these non-profits, anyone who has worked in Northeast will know that there has always been a link or suspected link, etc. Understandably, my understanding is that we know that the geopolitical situation, how it had hot up, the India-US relations and etc. So I presume that it cannot be that it is unknown. Probably they have decided to act. That is what my take is. That they had been looking at it. There was certain, that we also have certain weaknesses. So accordingly, I believe some time has come where someone has cracked the whip. And it is a case of kind of a case of tutu meh.
Interesting analysis there. Imran Ahmed Ali, do you agree with that there is some kind of larger conspiracy over there? Now, I don't know about creating a new state, etc., but it is a fact that in this particular case itself, there is Russian intelligence tip-offs, which is the basis of India taking this action. But that still doesn't answer the question of what these foreign nationals are doing in an extremely sensitive part of the country, a part of the country where China, Bangladesh and various leaders in the past have made all sorts of controversial comments and have set their sights on in the past.
Madhav, till the Northeast, the Northeast cannot be considered a blind spot in India's security architecture. While saying that, I'm somebody who does not believe in cinematic nationalism and that we've been debating on television about Durandar or not. I'm somebody who believes in real world accountability. If these claims are exaggerated, the central government needs to come forward and clarify them. If it is true, it needs to be fixed. That is the hard or soft line. Today, I only have one problem. If, as per your statistics, from February to June, there were 1,500 such nationals, and I was reading another article which said from June to December 24, there were 2,000 such nationals. Now, A, how did they enter the state? If they came through Delhi and transited through other states, how did the aviation ministry under its control allow such movements, especially when we have this data for over 2 years? Now, I should not, as a citizen of the country, I should not be getting to know this from Times Now. There has to be a proper security briefing. There has to be a media briefing in which the central government, and especially keeping in mind that such international relations, borders, security forces come under the union list. Now, my problem today is only one, that if in case these security lapses have occurred, who comes out and takes responsibility, and how are we going to fix it?
I think that's a fair question, although, the question for Ministry of Civil Aviation, there are many, many questions that we as citizens should be asking the Ministry of Civil Aviation. This, I don't think, is one, because it's not the airlines that are going to stop them, it's the law enforcement agencies, particularly the state government, which issues the permit. And let me bring in Rajat on that. Rajat, there is an inner-line permit system in this country, restricted area permit, etc. And these are sensitive states. If these are people, foreign nationals who are not authorized to travel to those parts of the country, who's responsible for it? Is it not the state government? Or if they are crossing the border, then not the central government? That's a question that Imran is asking.
So most of these nationals are actually coming through proper visa routes into India. And then they come, as soon as they land into any of the capital city, be it Aizawl or in Imphal, they go through the legitimate exercise of registering themselves at the airport itself. There's a separate queue for foreign nationals. All foreign nationals have to register. The problem is that they're doing all of this, but alongside that, they are carrying out some of these activities which are, dubious in nature at best. There is anyway a lot of conversion-related or Christian evangelism related stuff that was happening in the region, and which is by far not banned per se, but due permissions and all have to be taken. So under the garb of charity, under the garb of human trafficking, you'll be shocked to know, Madhav, there were so many raids that our in economic intelligence wings have done, where small households in the border areas, you were getting 20 lakh rupees a year to protect or to work against child trafficking. Now, on paper, it looks very clean, but the modus operandi within is that all of this money was getting siphoned out. You cannot imagine the amount of NIA arrests that have been made over the last 2-3 years. And, I am of the view that a lot of meticulous planning has also gone in, especially when you want to go out and arrest a US national, knowing very well that there will be pushback. You will not go weak on your paperwork. You will go overboard to ensure that every dot is well connected before, you launch such an attack. But I don't believe the number of 1,500 or 2,000. That's a bit exaggerated.
I think that's the total number of persons. Whether all of them were mercenaries, certainly I don't think is anyone's argument.
So that's
but
a
how
bit
many of them were
one.
involved in that particular activity is certainly a question. Imran, quick response, 30 seconds.
The Mizoram's chief minister specifically stated that there was specific evidence to the effect that these people did not go to normal tourist areas, rather preferred the border areas. Now that is where it becomes amply clear who these individuals were. And again, I'm just asking one question, and I'm going back to civil aviation. When a state has the PAP, the protected area permit, in effect, how would an airline allow someone without checking the PAP, whether it being in order or not, how will they allow them to?
You and I can both go to a website and buy the ticket. It's on his arrival over there that the state government will then check if they have the required permissions or not. To the best of my understanding, that's how it works. Anyway, let's leave it there for the moment. Many, many questions here. If state governments have to answer, central governments have to answer, or is it somebody else who has to account for this? Perhaps the investigation will make it clear. Rajat Sethi, Pratim Ranjan Bose, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, Imran Ahmed Ali, thanks so much for joining us this evening.